welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week of January 10 to January 16. Okay, so we're going to start Virgo's reading today by selecting an Isis Oracle card. And I will interpret that at the end of your reading as your final guidance. Okay, so let's see here what message we're going to select for Virgo. Okay, there it is, and we'll keep that for the end of the reading as the final guidance. Okay, let's get started with the tarot cards and see what messages we have for Virgo for their week. Okay, for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's see what's going on for Virgo. What messages do we have? Okay, so we see the Wheel of Fortune here with the Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay, Ace of Swords in reverse. That makes me feel like there is a shift in perspective that is required on an inner level. And that it's almost as if the Wheel of Fortune is coming along to help you understand that. And so it's almost a time where you need to be really mindful of the thoughts. Ace of Swords in reverse makes me think that maybe autopilot is driving the bus right now. And you need to be more mindful because something is shifting here for you, Virgo. I feel like you need to look at this thought pattern that you have here because it's almost as if you're, it's almost as if this thought pattern that needs a shift is so deeply internalized that you're not able to see that it's not serving you. It's an autopilot thought. It's almost like you're jumping into something without, I feel like you're jumping into something without really understanding that it's not the same situation anymore. Something has shifted. Something in a situation has shifted here outside of Virgo's regular way of interpreting things. And it's actually bringing in good. It's bringing in fortune here. And with that Wheel of Fortune, it's time for things to shift. Yeah, you're being guided to shift away from this autopilot sort of past way of thinking. It's based on a past way of thinking. It's not serving you. It's confusing, if anything. And it's confusing your energy too. Your alignment is off. Energetically, you're not looking at this in a way that serves you. It's interesting seeing that Queen of Cups sort of gazing at the Wheel of Fortune in the placement, right? It's the way that the cards sort of, the Queen is looking. So that makes me feel like you're looking at a situation in an emotional way and it's not serving you. You are looking at a situation that is actually moving in your favor and you're looking at it emotionally in a way that is leaving you out of balance and uncertain about what to do next. And it's interesting because I feel like that autopilot response developed in the past with that Six of Cups. And again, it's an emotional reaction. You're having an emotional response to something shifting and it's confusing you. There's the Devil right under that Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, it's a time where you're not clear on what's motivating you. And it could be a time where you're deliberately sort of, maybe not deliberately, but sort of on side with the part of you that is trying to convince you this is negative and this is not good and we must do something about this, rather than sort of just going where emotional fulfillment takes you. That Devil card represents Capricorn as well, Virgo. So there could be a Capricorn from the past that you're trying to sort of re-engage into a relationship, right? Like there could be a Capricorn in the past that you're trying to sort of, you've seen them in your imagination. You've seen this situation unfold in a way that you're trying to sort of re-engage. And you're tapping into intuitive imagination. You're trying to understand the truth behind what's motivating you. Again, you're trying to understand that, and you're doing some reflecting on it. But something has shifted with this Capricorn, or with this situation that you're looking at very emotionally. And it's almost like the truth is revealed, and you're going to have to trust this. This is the outcome here for you, is almost like you need to stop worrying about it and just trust that this situation is happening the way it needs to. And I feel like you're resisting that because of an emotional sort of pull that you have to hang on to something that may have naturally sort of taken the end of its course. Seeing the High Priestess in reverse on the bottom of my deck here for you, Virgo, makes me think that you're not accepting what your intuition has to say about this, because you have a different outcome in mind. You have an outcome in mind of unity with something that I feel has left you. I feel like, Virgo, you need to stop worrying about this. You need to let the divine timing, divine destiny sort of move this, you know, like I feel like you're trying to move this, but the Wheel of Fortune is here. This is moving on its own, and the Chariot is in reverse because I feel like you're trying to force things into place here with a situation that, you know, it's not, I don't know, I don't think you're going to be able to move it with force. Yeah, you're at a crossroads. There's the Two of Wands. You're at a crossroads with this Ace of Swords in reverse. And it's difficult for you to sort of tap out and out of that autopilot of this Ace of Swords. You're looking at something and it's showing you that you're at a crossroads. There's many options, right? Seven of Cups. There's many options with this Wheel of Fortune, but I feel like you're looking at this emotionally, and that is keeping you at a crossroads. You know, it's almost like you're at a place right now, Virgo, where, yeah, you're trying to bring structure and you're trying to lead something that I feel like, I don't know, and it has a really strong emotional component for you. You've attached a lot of emotional meaning to these options. And now we have that Emperor energy, which sort of comes in to make decisions and is a leader. And I feel like you're trying to lead this. You're trying to lead a situation that I'm starting to feel like it's not for you to be in charge of. Do you know what I mean? Like, you seeing that High Priestess, she keeps catching my eyes in reverse. Look at that, 8 of Wands again, but in reverse. Yeah, it's like you're not, your Chariot is in reverse because your intuition is in reverse. Your Chariot's in reverse because your guidance system is offline. Inner guidance appears to be offline. And as a result, you are fighting. You're fighting, and you're fighting with something from the past. You're fighting with something from the past that holds a lot of emotional significance for you, Virgo. But man, it's not this way. I feel like divine intervention, your intuition, your divine connection is trying to get you to approach this from a different way, different perspective. But you're at a crossroads. Something is the Star. The Star on the Devil. You know, you guys, this is very interesting. Capricorn, Aquarius, Virgo. Man, oh man. I can't help but feel like this is a situation involving an Aquarius and a Capricorn, and Virgo is just doing everything they can to try to sort of do something about this. Yeah, there's the Chariot in reverse again on the 10 of Cups. You are trying to drive these, I can't help but feel like Virgo is trying to drive a dynamic that doesn't really involve them. You're trying to control an outcome that doesn't involve you. I think it involves an Aquarius and a Capricorn, and you're trying to drive their destiny. This almost feels like a Virgo is playing matchmaker. Are you playing matchmaker? You maybe see in your imagination that these two people belong to each other. King of Cups, diagonal from the Queen of Cups. It's very interesting. I really feel like you are trying to pull these two people together. Virgo is Ace of Cups. Yeah, in reverse. This is not yours. I can't help but feel that this is not for you. I feel like you're involved in a situation here, Virgo, that is about other people's paths. Maybe you're the matriarch, right? Maybe you're a matriarch acting as the emperor here. There's the Hierophant over the tower. Yeah, it's almost like you're, you know what? I'm going to say it. I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it's almost like you're trying to play God, Virgo. You're trying to play God and it's not happening. It's not working and it's pissing you off. It's pissing you off. You're trying to play God and it's not working. You don't have to play God. Just focus on yourself. That's the message for your reading, is that you don't have to play God with other people's lives here, Virgo. I feel like you're really trying to do something here. You're trying to make a connection happen. You're trying to force something into place. Queen of Wands. Yep, you're really working on trying to, you're a third party, Virgo. This is interesting. Virgo is a third party bringing in a message of love. And you want to come in and sweep someone off their feet, but they're not into it. And you need to reflect on this. That's all landing to clarify the Four of Swords. The dynamic you need to reflect on here, Virgo, is this matchmaking one that you're doing. I feel like you are a third party in a situation, Virgo, and you're trying to come in with a love offer to sweep someone off their feet, but it's almost like the party that you're acting on, they see it. They see it. They see what you're doing and they're saying no. This is not for you. Look at that. Hanged man on the hanged man. Virgo, this is something to pay attention to. You need divine timing here. You need to trust. You need to release this dynamic. It's not for you to control. I feel like Virgo is involved in something that doesn't concern them, and that it's actually if this situation that Virgo is trying to sort of play God with, you can't. This isn't for you to decide. You got to let these two figure it out. This is the dynamic that Virgo, I feel, is trying to influence. And you've got to let these two figure out. That's why you got the Hanged Man twice, I think. You're trying to emperor the Queen and King of Cups into being, and you cannot. It is misaligning your own sense of fulfillment. You got to focus on yourself here, Virgo. This is, yeah, look at Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, another Capricorn card. You've got to leave well enough alone with this dynamic. I feel like it's not for you. This dynamic is not for you to try to manipulate or influence. You must just focus on your relationship with these people independently, instead of trying to force them together, which is, I think, what you're trying to do, Virgo. I think you're trying to play a game here where you're influencing truth. I think you're playing a dangerous game with the Hierophant and Tower together here, and it's not working. And the divine is almost making you wait, right? The divine is making you wait because I feel like you're trying to fight something from the past. You know, you're trying to fight something that you feel a lot of nostalgia. It's almost like you want to bring something back from the past into the present. And you're trying so hard to drive this into being, and it's not working. It's not working. And I feel like your intuition has a different message for you if you would listen to it. But it's interesting. I feel like it's a hard call for you to look at this situation without a degree of emotion, because you've attached a lot of emotion to this scenario, and it's almost like you've decided that it must be, or that it should be, you know, and the options around this situation being a goal, like a score, like it's going to work out, they're not your options. So that's the tricky part, is that I feel like you're trying to control something that doesn't involve you directly, like you're trying to put two people together. You know, matchmaker, playing God vibe here, Virgo. It's very interesting. Now, let's have a look at the oracle card we selected for Virgo at the beginning of the reading. It says here, enter the chamber of healing. Healing in the divine chamber of Lady Isis. Now, the message from this card is really one of a spiritual gift of healing coming towards you. And that it's like you're being called to be open here without any sort of expectation or preconceived notion, and just allowing things to fall into place is really the key here. And to take your time with this, right? Take your time. There is a sort of a big change coming that I feel like you're trying to. Maybe you've seen it in your imagination. Maybe you've seen the unity between these people that you're trying to bring together, and this vibe of the truth that you're bringing in, this message of the truth for them. But it almost feels like you're playing God with these two people for some reason here. It feels like you're getting this message because there is a sacred space to contemplate and reflect on what would be helpful here in order to receive that divine intervention that you're almost playing out, right? Like it's like Virgo's trying to be the divine intervention instead of allowing the divine to intervene. Do you know what I mean by that? Like it's very interesting. There is this message here for you to almost bring in your own healing in order to sort of create a sacred space that allows you to look at this from a different perspective and allow the mysteries of healing to occur on this level as well. So it's like you know, and we see that here with this Four of Swords. This is a time of reflection and healing and recovering, and as opposed to sort of being the instigator to try to bring in all of this sort of action and options with an agenda and having expectations, as opposed to just allowing the divine intervention to happen, right? I feel like that is a strong message here for Virgo, to simply be and to not think or analyze, but to just be open, rest, and allow the inspiration or guidance to come to you through that divine connection in the High Priestess, which is in reverse here. But I feel like you're struggling with that. You're struggling with that. There's almost like that Two of Pentacles vibe on the bottom of the small deck here. That's like, you're not sure which way to go. Should I allow this to just, you know, let the divine create the space so that this can heal on its own, whatever this is, or are you going to jump in? And I feel like you want to jump in. You want to jump in big time, but actually you need some healing for yourself so that you can let things fall into place and not force them. You know, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting reading for you, Virgo. It's like you're playing the part of the divine instead of allowing the divine to act upon you. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're embodying the influence of the divine in such a strong way that it's like you have this very specific agenda that you know, you really want to see it unfold in a certain way, but it's like you may not have recognized yet that this isn't for you to sort of be in charge of. Does that make sense? This is a time for you to almost get out of your own way so that you can heal yourself, and that the full expression of this story hasn't happened yet. You know, the full expression of this situation is yet to be seen. Energy is very fluid. We'll see what happens with all of this, but it's almost as if you need to sort of step outside of it and allow divine timing the space to have sort of a role in this dynamic, as opposed to you sort of trying to force things into place. Very interesting reading for you, Virgo. I'm going to leave it at that. If this has resonated for you and you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description below, along with a listing of readings that I currently offer. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Have a wonderful week.